Hello, you guys. Welcome to the Ranting Shop. I just needed to come in here to speak about the Patrice and Alonzo situation. Now, we know if we watched the reunion part one that they didn't end up being together. From what we know from the reunion, Patrice found that Alonzo was not being truthful, okay? Especially about the friend that he claims helped him get groceries because he mentions the unmarked car. So even mentioning the unmarked car, it means you were not expecting Patrice at that moment, and she shows up and you're with the girl. Patrice, or I should say the editing made it seem as if Patrice found them in like a compromising situation, or Patrice found them in a situation that, you know, was questionable. That's what the editing made it seem like. So Patrice has been on her page essentially calling Alonzo a liar about his how he got his verification check, talking about it was because he was being mentioned so much, and Patrice is essentially saying he probably bought that for $15.99. She's saying she wants to say so much more, but she's not gonna say anything. Now, my thing about it is, if someone is saying something, if someone is clearing their name, I think you should clear your name as well. But anyways, I'm pretty sure everyone has seen Alonzo's video right after the reunion. The next day after the reunion, he tries to explain what took place on the reunion and what didn't happen because he said he was being cut off.
If you're watching this, that means you've already seen the reunion, but this is actually the next day. And I just wanted to unpack a few things here. And for one, it was October 12th, right here, 2023. We been did the reunion. That was the 11th. And I'm going to send this email to myself so y'all can see it. And I'm going to date it. I'm going to show the date and everything. But a lot of lies was said. Choked and spanked. Never called that girl immature at all. Got a text message where I was trying to move forward with the conversation and she kept going back to it. The Patrice exclusive. We tried to make it work at the end of it. She wasn't giving me no respect that I had told her throughout. She totally changed throughout the process. And it got into a point to where it was like, all right, now I've jumped too many hurdles in your mind. Allow me my peace. And to find out that the whole time she was talking to William since the brunch. She told me we was exclusive and she stopped talking to him the day that he got eliminated on the getaway. So I just find it funny that each and every time that I tried to speak, I always had an interjection from somebody. You know, it just, for some reason, nobody wanted to hear the truth, which is fine. And then bringing up the other girl, I wanted to get to the bottom of it because she was slandering my name. And I was just trying to understand why. I have text messages of you telling me that you're going to stalk me. I have all of that information. And I don't mind. People can say whatever they want. But when it got into she tried to make it seem like I raped her. That was the reason why I did the police report. Like, it was like, you need to take this down because I have a mother.
So firstly, he says that with Patrice, they tried to make it work, but it seemed as if they just couldn't get back to that place that they fell for each other in during the reunion. So it eventually didn't work, right? Then, separate and apart from Patrice, he spoke about the friend that spoke with Patrice, and he mentioned that that friend was slandering his name, I'm assuming in the Facebook groups, and mentioning forceful sex and stuff like that. Now, that's not shocking because we saw how Alonzo was during the entire season. Everything was sex-based, inappropriate, raunchy, especially the choked or spanked conversation. It's kind of aligning with what we saw on TV thus far, right? But he's alleging the girl is saying that it was R and it wasn't that, and so he filed a police report on her and whatever the case may be. Now, In the comment section, he goes on to further explain what he meant. First of all, he said he can't compete with edits. That's why he made a video after the reunion, because he felt in his spirit they were going to burn him. It just sucks because I legit have real feelings and emotions and told everyone the truth, and often enough, that's why I'm single, because I'm too truthful. FYI, the girl never came inside my house. LOL. She took me to the grocery store. LOL. That's what he says. Okay? So my thing about it is, it's really difficult to believe Alonzo has been truthful when we've literally seen him try to gaslight people when it comes to certain things that are just factual. Anyways, let's move on. Now, he repeats again, the girl never came inside. And I told Patrice about the girl coming over. So the person asked him if he slept with the girl. And of course, he already explained that on the show. If you watch the show, because her ex-boyfriend asked me, would I mind if she wanted to take a trip with him? And I said, I don't mind. I trust my partner I choose to be with. I can't compete with edits, so that's why I recorded that video after the reunion. He goes on to say, she came over because she was slandering my name on a site. And I wanted to know why she was doing that. She was close to the area, and plus I needed to get groceries, so I killed two birds with one stone. It seems as if he used a grocery thing to get the girl to his house so she could explain to him why she's slandering his name, talking about he kind of abused her, or he essayed her, or he aired her. I don't know what it is. And I don't know, Patrice came in and she saw what she saw, and I don't know, it doesn't seem as if she just took that one thing to make a conclusion. It seemed as if after that fact, other women came into the picture and she just couldn't do it anymore. And somebody was saying getting regular STD checks is actually responsible. But the way I see it, it's you're being reckless and responsible at the same time. You're being reckless in that you're sleeping with everyone, and you're being responsible because you want to make sure that you're being recklessly cautious. I think it's like an oxymoron. It's like you're doing risky things, but then you're checking yourself. But I don't think it's necessarily you being responsible. I think it's still you being reckless, but having the sense to know, okay, let me still, monitor my health as I proceed to be reckless. That's how I see it. So let's go back to my screenshots. Just know, here in Dallas, cloud chasing is a real thing, and I never asked for any of it, but I don't back down when it's the truth. I promise you, if I was a dog, I have no problem saying it, lol. We all have a dog run, and that was me in college. I'm far removed from my freshman year. So Alonzo is essentially explaining that he's not what the reunion portrayed him out to be. He couldn't explain himself properly because he was being kind of stopped and prevented from doing so. But when he explained that he already told Patrice these things, she agrees. Now, because we don't see that, it's difficult for me to say yay or nay or yes or I believe you, considering he's not been giving me much stuff to believe, right? So now, from this, let's go into my thoughts about that whole relationship and why this mess occurred. I wrote down a couple of things that I realized upon noticing that the relationship was no more. Number one, just from watching the show, the inability of Alonzo to have serious conversations was a big thing. Even going on to Kojo's channel, he definitely tries to dish out a bit of sad truth with some humor. I just think it's the way he copes with the fact that as a child he wasn't listened to, as a child he wasn't given a safe space to be himself, and he also maybe wasn't protected as much as he wanted to be by his family members, right? Or friends. So he dealt with a lot of betrayal growing up. Now, Patrice probably saw it as he's a fun loving guy. Yeah, he's not serious and I want him to be, but I'm okay with it, is what she was saying. Now, the second thing is his need to test people. On Kojo's channel, that topic came about. Kojo was essentially saying testing people is not an act of love. You're taking them out of their comfort zone and making them react to things that you throw on them. It's not love. You're taking people out of their character for you to judge, essentially. And he's looking at it as, no, I'm only doing this so that when they get out of character or when they respond or react, I can nurture it and I could ask them, where is it coming from? But that's not what he did with Koshia. He took her out of her comfort zone with no intention of wanting to nurture that whatsoever. So that was interesting. Number 3, but okay, let me just say it. Well, the choked or spanked conversation is an example of his need to test people. The way Patrice responded to it was, I don't have any problem with it. We're grown. Right? That's how she responded to it. But we also have to realize that Patrice is the one that had the connection with Alonzo and not Koshia. So it's normal to me that they don't take it the same way, because I'm not having any type of sexual conversations with people that I'm not interested in. It's just not happening, right? And that was her point. And I cannot dismiss Koshia and say, oh, because you're not having sexual conversations with everybody, then you're this. Or because you chose not to do it with Alonzo, then you're this. I think it's normal. We pick and choose who we have certain conversations with. Patrice didn't see it as a bad thing because Patrice was the one interested in Alonzo. But my thing is, even with Patrice being interested in Alonzo, for her not to take note of how Alonzo went about that particular thing is weird to me. That was a red flag that, in my opinion, she missed. Okay, let's go to the next thing. The quickness with which Alonzo gave Patrice a key after the process ended. 3 days, or yeah, I should say 3 days, or maybe even sooner after the process ends, you're already giving somebody something as symbolic as a key. That was too soon. It was extremely immature of Alonzo to give Patrice that key and for Patrice to accept that key. The reason why it was immature is that both of these people do not know each other well enough to make such a strong symbolic move. They just left the process. They don't know everything about each other. That process is probably just a couple of weeks long. How much do you know about someone in a couple of weeks? And you also have to include the game show dynamic of that type of platform that they were on. It's not realistic. Everybody is playing to win. Everybody is putting on their representatives. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to make the most connections. How could you judge someone's character based on your time with them on a show? So to me, that was silly of Patrice to do, and that was goofy of Alonzo to do. Now, on Little Black Book's page, he goes on to explain that he gave Patrice a key because of the nature of Patrice's job. She works with celebrities and she drives celebrities around Texas. Alonzo felt like it was smarter for him to give Alexis access to his home because he lived in a more convenient location. Right? That was his logic. On top of that, he mentioned that was a symbol of his commitment to being exclusive to only her. As well-intentioned as Alonzo thought he was being by giving this woman a key so prematurely, it spoke to his immaturity and lack of foresight. Because I don't see how something like this could ever go well when there are two misinterpretations of what giving the key and receiving the key meant. Now, on the surface, Patrice said the key represented Alonzo's exclusivity and seriousness about wanting to make things work with Patrice. I never heard what Patrice felt like it meant to receive that key, to accept that key. I suppose she was accepting that they would be exclusive. And she also assumed it would be a thing where she can pop up at any time. Because if Alonzo is giving Patrice a key so that she can sleep there whenever she has to take celebrities around or whatever she has to do, then there's this common knowledge that I'm gonna be popping up at your house at whatever time due to the nature of her job. So I think there was already an understanding that Patrice is liable to pop up at my house at any time. I gave her the key. I gave it to her to come to my house whenever she needs to, so that her job is easier. That was the arrangement. So there should be no shock about her popping up, because that's why you give her the key. You give her the key so it would be convenient for her to do her job, because you live closer to the city. That's what you said. So then don't now bring up the fact that she came in an unmarked car as if to say she just popped up unannounced. Even if she did, these are the regulations. Maybe it was an unspoken one that you gave her. You basically told her come at any time. That may have been an unclear rule after the key was given, which is why I think Married for 10 Years was really smart when she said, how are you guys accepting contracts and you both don't even know, or you both are not even clear about what the rules and the guidelines of that contract is? That was a genius way of analyzing that situation. Because it's true. Because he comes on his platform to say Patrice was still speaking to William even after she accepted the key and they agreed to be exclusive. That is his comeback. But what I will say about that is that I'm not sure what the nature of Patrice's conversation with William was. So I can't go on to say, oh yeah, she was cheating on him too. She was playing with him too. I don't know. If it turns out that the conversation with William was just a friendship-based conversation, because bear in mind, when William leaves the process, he is not in a happy place. First of all, he's being accused by Laron of conspiring to get people out of the process. That has tainted people's perception of him. So we have that. Then we have the stress of even participating in this entire process, right? When he discloses to Patrice that he has his dad to take care of, on top of his other responsibilities, it was a lot for him, right? And then you have people saying, oh, I don't want to deal with William's issues. So Patrice being the only one that was willing, the only woman that was willing to give William a listening ear and a sort of comfort, I would almost bet that she would have continued speaking to William outside of the process. Because how do you just stop talking to somebody after they've disclosed to you that they're experiencing something traumatic and something difficult in their lives? So that's why I'm saying that I need to know the context of Patrice and William's communication, because it could have very well been innocent. It could have just been her looking out for William. So I don't know. But what I will say is, based on the show, what we've seen of Patrice is that she's willing to keep her options open. And somebody on Kojo's panel said something that made a lot of sense. And the person said that Patrice appears to be a petty individual, and I do believe so myself. If you burn her, she's gonna want to burn you back. So but the thing again is, I don't know the timeline of when she found out about the girl and when she continued speaking with William, when that ended, when that continued. I don't know the timeline of these things. But I wouldn't put it past Patrice to either reopen her connection with somebody else or keep it going because you're not sure of the person you chose. Which brings me to another point. They both were not sure of the people they chose. Alonzo wasn't too sure about Patrice because I'm pretty sure he saw Patrice cry for William. He saw how distraught Patrice was over somebody else that wasn't him, but they were supposed to have such a strong connection. He saw Patrice with Chaz, and I'm pretty sure that mentally he made a note and he was like, I need to put both of my eyes on Patrice, because as much as we have this great connection, I can't trust her as far as I can throw her, right? And another point that the women made was that he wasn't affected enough by the fact that Patrice was keeping her options open. Somebody that really cared would feel a way that their one connection is maintaining her options for other people. So it could possibly be that he clocked Patrice a long time ago and was like, I'm gonna keep at an arm's length and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, but try to see if I can get to trust her. And then he realized the William thing, and maybe he decided, okay, she's playing me, let me continue moving like I move. and then everything collapsed. Another thing, another possible theory, and Kojo spoke on this as well. For somebody that grew up in a type of household where the stepfather doesn't fully embrace or accept him, the mother doesn't fully give him space to be vulnerable. He said via his own words, he grew up in a household where you had to hold your own. So there was no comfort, no softness, no protection, no safe space. So he created that safe space via other people, via his female friends. And I'm pretty sure that he thought that that particular female friend that went back and told Patrice about their sexual past would have protected him. But she didn't, because I'm pretty sure she didn't feel protected by Alonzo. For any girl that you consider your friend to go back and tell the person that you're in a relationship with that yes, we did have a sexual history, it means you have a secret animosity towards your so-called friend. It's either it's a secret animosity or it's a secret love that is not being reciprocated. And we all know what happens when a woman gives her sex to a guy. The woman always feels, she always falls, she always locks herself in, even when sometimes the guy doesn't feel the same way. And I'm feeling like that was possibly the dynamic. Because if I'm your friend, we're supposed to be good friends. Yeah, we messed up and we did what we did. But as your friend, I would assume you'd want me to flourish elsewhere, even if I didn't flourish with you. But that's the thing. Can you be friends with somebody you slept with? And although Alonzo is saying, it's crazy to me that people can't be friends with people they slept with. Let's look at the situation that played out. Would you say that that person was his friend? No. She either had secret animosity or love for him that he was not aware of. Apparently, that woman had a boyfriend. But there's something that was probably brewing in her that she just could not maybe vocalize to Alonzo at that time. So Alonzo is thinking everything is cool, and the whole time the friend is probably in some mental turmoil, trying to figure out what is this that happened with us, like still trying to process things. You know what I'm saying? And then Patrice gets caught up in the mess, which I think she blindly went into, because as grown as a woman is, as grown as a woman wants people to think she is, if you're not healed, you're gonna fall into those same patterns that you said you wanted to get out of. Because we heard Patrice say multiple times, I typically go for younger guys. I want this. I want stability. I want a house. I want a husband. And then she ended up choosing the person that it seems like she typically chooses. The goofy, the young guy, the guy that runs the streets possibly. Because she wants somebody to control. She wants somebody to lead. She wants to be in control of how that ends. And she ended up not being quick enough to get Alonzo before Alonzo got her. It's all a game, you guys. It's all a game. It's unfortunate how it ended. but it's both of their faults. Inability to set proper guidelines and rules before entering into a contract. It's important. Anyways, you guys, like, subscribe. See you guys next time. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Comment, 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 comment. Please, I love your comments. Bye bye.